Hi, welcome to the pilot of my potential podcast. And this all started because I got a new mic. So, I'm like, why not? I want to quickly introduce myself. I'm Lalari. I am a 30-something-year-old living in the Bay Area. I like to collect hobbies. I like to call myself the collector of hobbies. I don't know, maybe it has to do with my ADHD, but I usually just pick up hobbies and then I hyperfixate on them and then I move on. But it's okay. I don't see it as a negative thing. I think it's great because you have different interests and then you're never bored. So, new hyperfixation using my new mic and recording content. Anyway, right now, what I do for work, I am in tech sales and I'm just creative, trying to navigate life and in her late 30s and trying to make the best of it. So why don't we get started? In this podcast, we're going to talk a little bit of everything and nothing. So I hope it's not a complete waste of your time. I don't know how you guys feel about the use of ChatGPT. I know it's not super good for the environment. And I think it does kill creativity and it makes us a little bit lazy when it comes to thinking. But I think that there's something to using it to your advantage to create processes or to help you organize your mind or help you create something in the sense of help me, I don't know, ask me questions so I can find out who my target audience is. So it's not the ChatGPT is not really telling you what your target audience is, asking you questions so you can actually think about it so then you don't become mentally lazy. So I think that's one way to use it. Another way that I've been using it now that I'm looking for a job is I have been using it to do mock interviews. So basically what I do is I throw the job description into ChatGPT and then I tell it to look on Glassdoor what are the questions that they usually ask for that position, and then I tell it to and then I use the voice option and I tell it to do a mock interview with me. That way it gets me into the role of being in an interview and thinking of on my feet and getting those words out. But because I think that's really important when it comes to public speaking in general, but presenting, public speaking, or interviewing is you can have this idea. Well, at least that's how it works for me. I can have these ideas and how I think I'm going to respond, but those words have to come out. I have to say them and I have to get in the flow of saying them. So when it comes time to answering those questions, I don't trip over my words. Anyway, recently I moved to Oakland and it was an easy decision to make. It's more affordable than San Francisco and most of my friends are here. So it was an easy decision to make. Now that I am in this transitional mental space, I've been trying to reflect a lot on what I want to do, what I enjoy doing. And one thing that I have been thinking about is what challenges me when it comes to doing content creation. And content creation is something that I like doing. I just like being creative. I've always been a creative person and creating content has become an outlet for me. And I think that one of the challenges that I face is not so much being shy in front of the camera. And maybe sometimes, I'm not going to lie, recording myself in front out in public. But sometimes that, like once I start, then it goes away. And it's just like, honestly, nobody cares. That's something I have to repeat myself. And I think people should practice it more often. Like being out at the gym or walking outside is like, nobody cares. Nobody's looking at you. And I have to repeat that to myself because not just recording content, this happens to me, not just recording content, but also like just in general, when I'm walking down the street, when I'm going somewhere by myself, it's that I feel like people are looking at me. I feel very self-conscious. And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I am an extrovert and I just love being around people, or I find comfort being around people. I think that's something that I learned when I went to Japan on my first solo trip overseas. going somewhere by myself, like traveling by myself. I did my first solo trip to Boston when I lived in Texas, and this was in must have been 2014. Fast forward to 2025, 10 years, almost 11 years after, I went to Japan by myself, and I was really scared. I was reading at my journey entries, and I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry because I really wanted to go with other people, with people that I like. But it was impossible because of work and things of the sort. So I took it as, okay, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it's something that I romanticize, and why not? So I went, and it was great, but I did learn that I do better when I have structure if I'm by myself, meaning I think booking tours. That way I can interact with people, because if I'm going somewhere where I don't know the language, it's going to be really hard to communicate with people. And I love talking to people, communicating and connecting with people. So I think that really hit me when I got there. I couldn't communicate with anyone, and it was hard, and I was by myself, and I had that anxiety of like everybody looking at me. So I learned that I have to tell myself nobody cares, because nobody cares. To be honest, I think that everybody is just focused on themselves. Nobody's looking at you, girl. That's me talking to myself. But yeah, so I learned that, and also because I did book a couple tours when I was there for in 2 separate days, and I had a lot of fun when I was on those tours. I had a lot of fun. I was able to talk to people, and it was great. One thing that happened that that trip was just it was a learning experience for sure, and also very humbling. I got sick. I got sick, and I had the runs, and I had this food tour I had to go to, and I had already paid for it, and I didn't want to cancel it. So I went, and like I was eating, and I probably shouldn't have been eating. I should have been on a bland diet, but I was there just running home from the train and like hoping I wasn't going to shit my pants. So yeah, I definitely recommend doing a solo trip, but I do recommend that you really check where you're deciding to go, do your research, because not all countries are safe for women. Unfortunately, we live in this world. I think I would go back to Japan. If I have the opportunity, I want to go back, and I would do things a little bit different. I would have more structure, whether by myself or through tours. Talking about getting sick in other countries, back in 2019, I was working at a company where I had to travel a lot for work, and I was traveling to Latin America. And I'm not going to say the country. Well, fuck it, I'll say it. I was traveling to Peru. So I was in Peru, and I was having fun and stuff, and everything was great. That day, I had filled a water bottle with water from the faucet, and so I could do some iron my clothes, because I was going to go I was going to go out on meetings and stuff. So I did that. So I had 2 water bottles. I had a water bottle with a lid, that was my drinking water, and then a water bottle without a lid, which was the water for the iron. That night, I went to dinner, I had some drinks, I came home, I fell asleep. The next day, in the morning, in the middle of the night, like the wee hours of it, whatever, in like the early morning, I wake up hungover, and I'm like, I need water. So I grabbed the first water bottle I see, and I chugged it. It was like half a water bottle. I chugged the water bottle. And the next day, everything was fine. I mean, later on, as the hours progressed, I got ready, I went to the office, and I started getting a pain in my stomach, kind of like here at the beginning of the stomach. And I was like, is it the food I ate? Like maybe I'm getting like gastritis or something like that, right? Like maybe this acid. I don't know. So I went back to my hotel, and I was laying there, and the pain started going down and down. It got so painful that I was in like crouched like this, laying on my side on the bed. And my coworkers were like, oh, like teasing me that I got the runs. but But I hadn't yet. I hadn't had the runs yet. It was just pain. It was so painful. And then, sure enough, the pain went down and then down and then down until it all came out. It was terrible. I think I had a fever. I called the traveling services and I was like, I am so sick. I need to go home. So they moved my flight to that night. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to shit myself in the plane. So I walked around the airport. I found this little stand that had Pepto-Bismol tablets. And I was like, can I have the Pepto-Bismol tablets? And she's like, oh, do you want one? I was like, just give me the whole box. I bought the whole freaking box because I was dying. Like, I was throwing up and I was pooping my pants. And I was like, I can't. I'm going to get on a flight that's like, I think the flight was super long. It was like 8 hours or something like that. Because, I mean, from San Francisco to Peru. And, I mean, I had to stop in, I must have done a stop in Panama. Anyway, that's whatever. It was a long ass flight. And I was gonna die. So I just took as many Pepto-Bismol tablets as I could. And I just prayed. I was there hugging my backpack just like this. And just praying that I wouldn't throw up. And sure enough, like on the way back, there was a lot of turbulence. I was dying. By the time I got back to the United States, I went to the emergency doctor and they were like, yeah, you are intoxicated. So when I was on my way back, I was looking up like, what is it? So I remember I drank up the whole water bottle. That was not my drinking water. And then I found out that the water is not super drinkable there. I don't know how it is now, but at the time it wasn't super drinkable. And just to make it worse, before I left, they were like, I was with friends, and before I left to the trip, I was with friends, and they were like, be very careful, don't drink the water, like you might get sick. And I was like, bitch, I'm Mexican. I used to drink out of like the hose outside. Like, I'm not gonna get sick. And then, sure enough, I got sick. It was definitely a humbling experience. Even though I did used to drink out of like the faucet or out of the hose when I was a kid out in Mexico, I think that like our bodies just like get used to different environments. I remember I went to Mexico a few years ago, and I went to Mexico City, and then I got sick. And I don't know what it was. I mean, I didn't eat anything weird. Okay, the most weird thing I ate was a quesadilla with huitlacoche, which is the fungus that grows on the elote, and they cook it, and it's a fungus. It's like mushrooms, right? So I don't think that was it though. I have a feeling it was the ice. Like maybe it was the ice in the water or the water. I don't want to be like those. I don't want to be like those tourists that get sick, but I got sick. So anyway, I have been in the United States for a long time. I've been living here for a long time. So that's where my theory comes from, that I think that our bodies get used to a different environment, and maybe like you just like your bodies just get rid of all the bacteria. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Anyway, going back to work and a job and career and what to do with your life. I'm in this transitional space, so I am very, very existential these days. And going back to that, I saw a TikTok today that said, if money wasn't an object, what would you do? And what would you do with your life, with your time, right? And I was like, well, yeah, that's a good question. Like, what would I do? And then I saw this other TikTok. Okay, I spent so much time on TikTok. Okay, then I saw this other TikTok that was talking about finding. I'm looking it up because I don't want to butcher it. Finding your ikigai. So it's like this is very famous. So if you're not familiar with it, it's like the Japanese concept of It means a reason for being. So basically, finding something that you love, that is your passion, something that the world needs, something that you can get paid for, and something that you're good at. And like when all of those things overlap, what is that thing? And finding that, and that gets me thinking, because sales is definitely not my ikigai. Or is it? I don't know. Like maybe it's something that I could be working towards. I'm not passionate about it though. So it's not something I could be spending my days talking about it. Otherwise, this vlog would be about sales. But yeah, so I've always been a creative, but jobs and work in the creative field are usually the hardest. So I've always been very, very jealous of the people that have it very clear, that know exactly what they want and from a very early age, and they work towards it. Because I wish I did. I feel like I would be in a different spot in life if maybe I would be further ahead. Maybe I would be happier. I'm not sure. Does anybody feel that way? Like, I cannot be the only one. And if you do, please let me know in the comments. I really don't want to be the only one. I think that's something that I'm going to be thinking about. But see, the world that we live in is very hard to spend time like, oh, okay, I like content creation. Well, who has the resources to just trying to build something from the ground up? Because content creation and any business, it's probably not going to give you any money for the first year, maybe 2 years, maybe more. Hopefully not. But in the first year, for sure, you're not going to get anything. So who has the resources to not get any money for a whole year? I don't know. That's something that I have been thinking about. It's getting dark out. I'm losing light. These days are very short, so make sure to go outside and get your vitamin D. No, for real, get sunlight. I think that helps the mental health. And anyway, hopefully next time, if there is a next episode, let me know if you would like another episode. It'll be more structured. Maybe I'll come up with some themes that we can talk about. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, thank you for being with me. Bye.